It was mid-afternoon when we noticed something unusual at the driveway. The lock on my truck had been tampered with. Sure enough, HOA Karen had once again crossed the line, cutting the lock as if she had the authority to inspect or claim any property she fancied. Her audacity was astounding, though by now, it had become almost predictable. As soon as I saw the damage, I knew this wasn't going to be a small confrontation. My wife and I had already prepared for her next move. Hidden cameras captured her every action, and we had coordinated with local law enforcement in advance for situations just like this. Karen, unaware of how well prepared we were, had no idea that her latest stunt would escalate quickly. She appeared moments later, attempting to confront me in the driveway, her hands waving as she shouted about unauthorized locking and community enforcement. Her voice carried a sense of self-importance that was almost comical, given that she had just committed an obvious act of trespassing. Neighbors peeked from windows, some recording on their phones, sensing that yet another spectacular episode of Karen chaos was unfolding. Karen's bravado escalated further when she realized I was standing calmly near my truck. She demanded that I step aside while she inspected it. That's when we triggered our contingency. A SWAT team, already on standby for her repeated harassment, arrived with precise timing. Officers exited vehicles in full tactical gear, shouting in unison, "Step away from the vehicle!" Karen froze. The reality of the situation hit her like a thunderbolt. Her face went pale, and for the first time, her confidence wavered. She tried to insist that she had the right to inspect the truck, but the SWAT officers were unyielding. Every attempt to argue was drowned out by the professional, authoritative presence surrounding her. She had walked straight into a scenario she could not control, one where her usual tactics of intimidation were utterly useless. The officers quickly assessed the situation and confirmed that my truck was fully legal, registered, and entirely mine. Karen's tampering, however, could not go unnoticed. She was informed that her actions constituted criminal damage and trespassing, and her repeated attempts to assert false authority only worsened her position. By now, neighbors were openly watching, some filming, as Karen's theatrical protests failed spectacularly. Her retreat was chaotic. She backed away from the truck, waving her arms in panic, muttering about calling the police and filing complaints, but no one took her seriously. The SWAT team remained, ensuring that no further tampering occurred, while I calmly documented every detail for potential legal action. Karen's overreach had once again turned into public humiliation, leaving her credibility in tatters. Even after the incident, the ripple effects continued. Footage from the cameras circulated quietly among local authorities and neighbors, cementing Karen's reputation for reckless entitlement. Her repeated attempts to intimidate or control were now firmly documented, ensuring that any future missteps would carry significant consequences. By the evening, my truck was secure, undamaged, and fully under my control, while Karen's self-assured persona had been thoroughly dismantled. It was another reminder that preparation, patience, and calm execution could easily counter even the most brazen acts of harassment. HOA Karen, for all her bluster and theatrics, had once again been outmatched, humiliated, and left to stew in her own overreach. The incident became yet another legendary chapter in her saga, demonstrating that audacity without preparation was a recipe for disaster. And as I drove my truck back into the garage, I couldn't help but smile, knowing that HOA Karen's latest stunt would be remembered for years as the moment her overconfidence met undeniable authority and lost.